Hey, Reg, if I leave out and go to your page, will it cancel the whole video?
Yeah, just don't leave out. So we just about to. All right, so we back. His words, not mine. Um, we didn't have a spotlight last week, but we got one this week. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Um, and then we're gonna kick it off. So go ahead and introduce yourself, my brother.
What's going on, everybody? My name is CJ Fryer, aka Finesse Customs. I am a shoe and cleat customizer. I do more than just shoes and cleats. I have done purses, I have done earphone cases, I have done barber coats, so on and so forth. So I'm not just limited to just shoes and cleats, but that's what all got me started into the whole entire Finesse Customs ordeal. So, pretty much what got me started was one day I was sitting in my man cave watching NFL, and the commentator was talking about Odell Beckham and Odell Beckham's cleat work. So I noticed that on his cleats he had like these cartoon characters and stuff that you're not gonna find in the store. So I went to YouTube and I said, let me see if I can find who did this man cleats. As soon as I typed in Odell Beckham, as soon as I put the word C for cleats, everything popped up from people doing college players, high school players on the West Coast, so on and so forth, because that wasn't really dominant around the East Coast part of North Carolina, where I'm from or whatever. So I've been in art school. I started in art school when I was in high school, and I had a decision to make, either art school or play football. And I chose football because it was my last year in high school, and I had to make a decision. So I put my main focus all into football. Didn't really get back into it until one day I was, like I said, sitting right here in this very chair watching ESPN, and Odell Beckham cleats came up, and I put my knowledge to use, and I can draw, so I just started putting on shoes. Started my own shoes first. Of course, you got to start with your own stuff first. And the shoes I had were kind of old. I ain't wearing them anymore, so I said, you know what? If I'm gonna mess up anybody's shoes, it's gonna be mine first. So did a pretty job with it. I had some phone posits, did okay. Then I moved on to one of my boys, did his, and that was back in 2017. And then I just kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna slack off. Cause it take a lot of work into doing a cleat and a shoe. It's more than just putting paint down. You really got to know what you're doing. You really got to be able to do the proper steps to make sure the paint actually sticks. Especially playing football, it can be stepped on, it can be scratched. You got to deal with mud, dirt, turf, all that stuff that can rub the paint off. So I didn't start taking it very serious until last year. I had donated a cleat to the local high school around here called Havelock High School. Havelock High School is a dominant high school around here. A lot of players go D1. So I said, let me get in contact with one of the football coaches. Got in contact with him and told him what I was trying to do. And they're sponsored by Under Armour. So I got somebody who hooked me up with Under Armour cleat. Once I did the cleat or whatever, I gave it to him. And one of the players, which is actually a starting outside linebacker, and also I think he's a two-star, if I'm not mistaken now, he wound up wearing the cleat, and the whole entire city just went crazy. And then that went to another city, then to another city. Got on Facebook, people started sharing my work. And the more people start sharing, I've been getting work from, North Carolina, Florida, California, Utah, Canada. And then it started going to the pros. And a lot of people ask me, how I get pros to actually trust me. When you build a portfolio, and I have my website, when you have a portfolio and they see your work, I really ain't got to say too much. And that's not being arrogant or cocky, but if you're going to build a portfolio, you will make sure you have enough content on a website or Instagram. Or so I say, you know what? Once I reach over 100 customs, then that's when I'm going to release the website. So right now I'm sitting at 130 customs, and I still got more that I've got coming in from other players. Right now, people are kind of worried about if they will even have, sports. Some states are not having sports right now, even for high school kids. They got school, they're not gonna have sports, but all states is not gonna allow the kids to just not have any sports. So all gonna be kind of bad for me this year, but God made a way, and I've been doing customs for pretty much everybody. So it wasn't just cleats. I thought I just do cleats. I've been doing Air Force One. I've been doing a lot of stuff. So um, like I said, my main goal is just to keep going and not just strictly football. I've been trying to reach out to the WNBA. I've been talking to a couple of them. I want to do women too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women play flag football, which I have a cleat coming in for a special surprise. So y'all stay tuned because who it may be, everybody should know. Because women do more than just play basketball. So they're kind of diverse. So, I mean, this is something that I turn a hobby into something that I can actually get, benefit off of, grow payment off of. So a lot of hard work, but I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
Man, I like I said, we became friends because we're in a video game group, and I was seeing your work, and I was like, man, this stuff is dope. This is some good work. And we got a couple players, and we got a couple people in our city that are NFL players. Pastor Hawkins' cousin, NFL. So I'm pretty sure once they watch this, man, somebody's gonna reach out to you. Somebody's gonna reach out to you. Before you leave, man, I got your information going across the bottom right here. If you want to just tell them verbally how they can reach you, and we'll take it. We'll go from there.
All right. So on Facebook, you can find me at C.J. My last name FRYAR, or you can go to my Facebook customizer group, which is Finesse FINESSE Customs CUSTOMS. That's my Facebook group, and my website is pretty down below. It's finessecustoms.godaddysites.com. So you can find me anywhere. If you can't get in contact with me, contact Reg. Reg can contact me. So either way, you can contact me. Instagram is finesse_910. So I'm not hard to find.
And we appreciate you stopping through tonight, my brother. Definitely appreciate you stopping through. Hey man, y'all shop with him, man. Shop with him. Shop with him, please.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Keep grinding, bro.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff.
That's good.
Hey,
I might give me some kicks done for what I'm saying, when I'm on the pulpit or something. When I go preach it at Hawk Church.
Here we go.
You gonna get some disciples put on yours?
Yeah, I can get me some ones done and some skinny jeans. I'd be all right at Hawk Church.
I know skinny. That's what Hawk be wearing, skinny jeans when he preaching.
With his knees all the way out. He know he won't raise like that.
Oh, come on, Hawk.
Y'all brothers are on 20 tonight.
Come on, Hawk. I know you ain't wearing no skinny jeans while you preaching. How you shot those skinny jeans, Hawk?
I feel the church, I gotta wear a suit.
Oh yeah. Most definitely gotta wear a suit, Pastor Taylor Church. Y'all three-piece suits too.
Nah, bro. Nah.
Harvey.
Hey, he came out in a 3-piece suit. I had on a t-shirt.
Every time I come there, he has on a t-shirt and I have on a suit.
That is right. I was confused at that whole ordeal. I'm like, how Hawk up there in the Steve Harvey and Pastor Taylor over there in an Airburst shirt.
That's how we do it. I was laughing the whole time too. He was hot too. I knew he was hot.
Sweating.
Hey, he honored his boy though. I ain't mad at him. I appreciate him.
Always, I got you.
Hey, but other than that, man, how everybody doing tonight?
Man. Good, man.
Love.
So tonight, man, we have hey, for y'all that's listening, man, listen. I don't. Let me just put this out here. I don't have COVID.
Come on. I hope you ain't got that Rona.
Listen, I ain't got the Rona. I don't have the Rona.
You clearing your throat a little too much.
My daughter, man.
We virtually. I'm glad we virtual.
She running around here having a good time, and she done gave her daddy her cold, and she around here chilling. But because we all know we got kids, man, we know what we got to do for them to get them better than they get us sick. But I got two of my good friends on here tonight, man. One of my sisters, man, I went to high school with her. We've been knowing each other for a long time. And then the other one, I met her while I was working at the middle school. Her son, great basketball player, outstanding young man. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves however they want to, and then I'm gonna get into my spiel. Ashley, you can go first.
Well, yeah, I'm Ashley. As Reggie said, I've been knowing him for some time now, high school, and then after that, we've just kind of kept in touch, and still have some common ground. So he is definitely like my brother.
Word. My name is Renata. Like Reggie said, I met him back when my son was in middle school. So he's been out of school over a year now. So we go back for some years for basketball. Reggie ain't got no sense, but he cool people. So
I don't.
Y'all ain't win. Oh, he was your son basketball coach. Y'all ain't win no games, did you?
Oh my God! Now, Pastor Taylor, if I can recall, we beat. Come on,
Nah.
Pastor Taylor, don't do me like that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Hey, listen. That's crazy. Listen, I'm not the type of person. I don't put my stuff out there.
Hey man, let's stay focused, man. Let's stay focused, man.
All right, okay, go ahead.
now he about to break it down.
Yeah. He do a great job. I'm just messing with him. I'm just messing with him. He knows all love.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But man, tonight, man, I just want to touch on something totally different, man. We're just gonna have some dialogue tonight. And anybody that's in the comments, you welcome to ask a question, propose a question, anything you want to do. Anything you want to do, man. This is gonna be a good show tonight. We're gonna talk about family. And the component of the family, we're gonna talk about the man as well. We're gonna talk about the man as well. I looked up something, and it said the family is the foundational institution of society ordained by God.
Wow.
The family. And when we think of a family, as it talks about in the Bible, husband, wife, kids. Husband, wife, kids. That's what and then it didn't single out the single people. It talked about the singleness people as well. Hey, I've been studying, pastors. I've been studying.
I told you quit running.
But I asked these two young ladies. I'm gonna just start off like this. Do they feel that the man has failed them in society? As a woman, do y'all feel like we as men have failed y'all? Renata, you can go first.
No, I would say men has failed women as society. I think it more or less goes back to how we choose to interact with men and knowing who's for us and who's not for us. So once we realize what type of man we're looking for, then and only then we can, we can't blame somebody else for something that we are accepting of. So I wouldn't say that, because I can go to 5-6 guys right now, black men, that I know if I say, hey, I need this, it's nothing for them to drop it. I know I feel safe and secure around, like 98% of my friends are men. So I wouldn't say that the black man has failed the black woman per se.
What you think, Ashley?
I will say in certain circumstances, certain instances, yes, they have. And I would say that as a family unit, like thinking about hip hop and sometimes how the black man addresses us, not in my personal life per se, but if I look at the big picture, I would definitely say, yeah. I just think sometimes them not being in a home, or, just the way they, like I said, like how they view some women in general, it's not necessarily right. It's definitely not right.
What, Pastor Taylor, Pastor Hawkins, I'm gonna let y'all flow. What y'all got? How do y'all think, as you look at men, your peers, as you look at your peers, how do you think we're flowing in society right now when you look at your peers?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, who you talking to?
Pastor Hawkins, Pastor Bradley, whichever one want to go first.
Man, I gotta think about this, man. I mean, this is pretty heavy conversation. Number one, I don't think we can look at the society of a black man and not look at our society in our country, and from mass incarceration,
Right.
systemic racism, and how there's been an attack on black men since slavery, and dehumanizing men, stripping the masculinity from men. So I don't think you can just talk about the effects of black men and not address the effects that society has had on tearing down black men out of the household. That's my initial comment. We can circle back around that, though.
I got a rebuttal for that. Go ahead, Pastor Taylor. What you got?
So I was thinking towards the same line. I just saw one of the comments. One of the young ladies said, "You could have asked me. I could have told you." Absolutely, they have. That was real as it gets. But check it out. You know, I mean, if you're looking at I can say this: the optics don't look good. But then you have to go back, like Pastor Hawk said. I think you have to go. I say this all the time when I'm talking to, even doing counseling or just motivating and talking to folks with issues. One of the things that I really try to stress is that you have to understand when people don't have the tools to do what you need for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
I can look at a wall, or I can look at something that needs a screw screwed in. And if I go to my toolbox and I can't find a screwdriver nowhere in the house, and it's a Phillips head screw that I need to screw in there, I can want to screw that tight all I want to. But if I cannot find the tool to do it, I cannot produce the result that I need to produce because I simply don't have the tools. And going back to the start when we were freed, you talking about a situation that pulled us out of our culture into a situation where black men were not trained nor asked to be the providers. I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to give, you know what I mean? They were simply property workers. There to produce, just have labor, and everybody's needs were taken care of. And then so when you take them out of that and free them, and they have to fend for their families and be those providers and have that without the tools, I think over years we've kind of had to learn and grow. And some families had that foundation where their background had the foundations and the tools that they needed to reproduce great fathers and great men. But then you can't ignore others in our society too. From you go back 5, 6, 7 generations, you just reproduce men without toolkits and just reproduce the same thing. Most of the things you see happening today, it's a 4 or 5 generation old issue. It is fatherless fathers trying to figure out being a father, right. Or it is fatherless fathers who leave their kids because their daddy left them. It is. So the optics say that black men don't care about the family, but I don't believe we have enough men teaching boys how to be men and care about the family.
Yeah.
So I'll start with that.
Right.
And that's kind of what I'm going at. Like, we have people that get, and I talked to Pastor Hawkins about this. We have people that get teased or ridiculed about living in a 2-parent household.
Yeah,
we have people that get teased and ridiculed because their parents are still together,
or targeted. My kids have gotten targeted before and picked on and tried to be bullied because they envied their daddy being around and thought, you ain't know your daddy always here, Yeah, I'm gonna always be there. You're right. I'm right there, and I'm gonna be there. So I ain't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you fine. Like I say, like I said tonight. I ain't gonna talk that much because I can't. But yes, we had people that get teased about living in 2-parent households. They get called spoiled because they mom and dad is still together. And they get looked at as outcasts because Single parent homes are the norm now.
That seems like that's coming from a place of hurt, though.
Yeah.
A place of pain. So they don't know how to portray that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is very, very interesting dialogue, because I do think, you know, there's been, you know, not enough fathers in homes, but I think the issues are why. But then there's been an extreme pressure and burden putting on single women to be men, which they cannot. You know, like, I mean, it doesn't matter
Right.
how much of a mother you are, you can never be a father. You know, and so I think
Never.
then that's the whole time. Well, I don't need a man. I'm your mom and your dad. You can't be both.
Right.
You can be the best
Can't be
version
both.
of what you can be, but I think that the voice of a father helps shapes the identity of sons or families. You know, and so you know, and I think that we all hear the song "Family Reunion," but when that brother started breaking down like the role of the family on the end of that song, it's one of the most powerful lyrics that I ever heard. If you go back and listen to Family Reunion, the song, and you hear like just him the last like few minutes just talking about the role of the family. You know, I think we have put a lot of pressure on women to do because we're not there. Now, listen, some of it is our decisions, but some of it are the conditions of our environment that we played into our environment. But some of it is actually, you know, some of the conditions that we've been in. But I think I really have a burden for single moms who have to do this alone. You know, I'm raising my children. You know, my wife and I are married. You know, we're raising our kids together. I don't know what it would be like if she had to be a single mom in this situation, you know. So I think I have empathy and compassion for those single moms that are doing this by themselves, because I know it's not easy.
I'm playing devil's advocate tonight, man. Women, and y'all can tell, women trust men. They trust us, and they trust us to the fact that they give themselves to us, and we turn around and we slap them in the face after they give themselves. And when I say slap them in the face, they can have our kid, and we're not there for them anymore.
Oh, you going there?
Yeah, we are not. I said I'm playing devil's advocate tonight. We are not there for them anymore. And listen, this is. Don't think I'm trying to preach the gospel, because everybody has their own opinion. This is just dialogue, and this is just how I look at certain things. Mm-hmm. We as men, like I say, we have to. We were put here first for a reason. We were put here first for a reason. God didn't just say, "I'm gonna just put him there just because." No, He put man here first for a reason, and that reason is to protect our women, our ribs, our family, lead them, guide them spiritually, mentally, anything we can do. And then when we just throw them to the wolves and don't even care about them. And that's the type of man, I think, I could be wrong. Like I say, y'all talk to me, because we got to talk about this thing. That's the kind of man I think that is leading this society right now.
Yeah.
That's the kind of man I think is leading this society.
You call that a man, though. You know what I mean? I think I'm just being honest. I think we using the term man very, very
but
not enough respect, because there's not a lot of real men. Because the thing is, like, you gotta think, if you had a child with somebody at 15, 16 years old, and then you expected them to be a man at 15, 16 years old, they were still a child. They hadn't grown. So some of it is that the point that you outgrew them. You know what I mean? It's not even that they didn't know how. I mean, we can have situations with kids. We were kids having kids, and then we're expecting them to learn how to, and they've never been fathered. So it's different on different spectrums the same way. But I'm saying, if we're talking about men, manhood is a decision. Like, you know, you have to make a decision to be a man. You know, I'm like, you know, we can all have kids, but that doesn't make you a father. And that doesn't make you a man because you have children, and, you know, and because you have kids. And even if you're married, that doesn't make you a man. Manhood is about responsibility and making good decisions. And one of the greatest legacies that you can leave your family is not your house, not your insurance policy, but a godly marriage. So we don't have any of those things to be able to show anybody the identity. Then what happens is, because I pastor people, I'm also raising daughters and sons. The biggest thing I'm having to speak into their identity. And that's the one thing not even a mother can nurture, but a father speaks the identity into their children and they help shape and mold them. When that voice is not there, then there's a lot of reasons of some of the things that's happening in our culture today, because there's no shaping. There's no voice to shape the identity inside of our families and our children, which in turn affects our society.
I had, and you know, and listen, I know our ladies, we got a guest here. I want y'all to chime in. We don't want to take over the conversation. We want to hear your perspective. So I don't want to feel like we're talking too much. But when you were talking about this, Hawk said something really critical. I think there are too many boys living in the manhood. I taught a message to a men's retreat one time, you know, from using the backdrop of this old movie. Y'all might remember this if you under 30, you might have to YouTube it. It was a movie in the 90s called Boys in the Hood. Mm-hmm. And so that movie was so significant that it would actually made it in the Library of Congress as being culturally significant and culturally relevant. And I use that title, Boys in the Hood, because there's a lot of boys in the hoods of a man trying to live. So I think there's three hoods. I think there's malehood, which means when you're born into malehood. Then I think there's boyhood, and I think there's manhood. And I think that's not because of one's age, but it's because of one's decisions and one's maturity and one's posture. And when you look at that movie, if you've never seen it before for a Black family, it is phenomenal movie just to watch if you have boys, to have kids, because I'm going to give you a little bit of backdrop. I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but there were three boys, the main characters, Trey, Ice Cube played Doughboy, and then his brother was a football player about to go to USC called Ricky. Ricky and Doughboy was brothers who lived in a single parent home. Their father wasn't there. And Trey, and this is right in the middle of Compton. This is right in the middle of South Central LA and crime and all that. Trey was living with his mama in North Carolina. He got too big, started talking back, getting in trouble. So she sent him to stay with his daddy. So his daddy lived in Compton, right in the middle of the hood. But he had his daddy to help nurture and shape him in the same environment of the other two boys whose daddies wasn't there. And both of them get killed by gun violence, and Trey makes it out when they had the same environment. The only thing different was one had his father. Mm. And so they were going through the same. There was a great place in the movie where they were going to kill the boys who shot Ricky, whatever, and Trey was about to go with him. And because of the teaching, he heard his daddy's voice. He heard the ringing of his dad tell him not to do something. So he tells them in the midstream, "Let me out." He don't go. They get killed. You know what I'm saying? That whole idea. So the father in the home is so critical. And I think this society, sadly enough, has taught us or gave us pictures of men being able to have babies without responsibility because they had not really learned their role in their children's life. I talk too many times to young men who have children and are not in their lives. And part of the reason for their pain is because their daddy wasn't in their life. Right. And I'm sitting here going, you ain't doing nothing but recreating the same situation because you don't have the courage to do something that you're afraid of. And that is standing there, be your father. And so this is a great conversation. It's a conversation we got to have. And I hope some fathers hear this so that we understand how critical it is that we stay in our children's life. And I'm going to say this last point and I'm finished. But there's a scripture in the Bible and it's very critical. It's what you talked about, Reg, earlier, why it's so difficult for most men who don't have strong foundations. The Bible says that women ought to submit to their husbands. I know y'all don't like to hear this, but let me just hear me out. Submit to your husbands. And the husband give themselves as Christ gave himself for the church. So there is a submission to a covering that has completely given himself for his family. And when you operating in as a real man, it has to give you gratification to see your family secure before you're secure. Boys want to see themselves secure and have what they need, and you fend for yourself. But men actually takes joy in giving themselves for their family. And I think that has to be deposited into men. It doesn't just happen overnight. That has to be taught. That has to be shown. That has to be an example. There has to be dialogue. There has to be conversation so that men can take their rightful places, so that the family structure can regenerate itself. Because I believe in that family structure get regenerated and men and women get back in their place. There are too many women trying to be men, and you're great, strong women, but you're not a man. But you have to be, because the men are out of place, right? And so we can get you back in your place, and you're building and you're lifting up and you're nurturing and you're birthing vision and you're doing what a woman is supposed to do. When a man gets back in his place, the family is going to thrive because everybody is in position.
Great.
Ashley?
Well, I was just going to piggyback off of what he said, the fact that, the men are not present, but at the same time, it's this whole illusion that women, Black women especially, we don't need a man. We don't need a man to help raise a child. We don't need a man to, contribute to our household. We don't need a man at all. It's all this whole independent woman, you be a boss woman. And I'm not saying that anything is wrong with those things, but I think that sometimes it gives us this false illusion of, I'm just going to do what I need to do without a man. And then you just take the whole part out, and it does, affect it does affect the family in a major way. So yeah, the man is missing, but also, it's that whole piece of, well, even if this dad is not here, I'm still going to do what I need to do to take care of my child. And we almost glorify that in a sense. So,
I think that's a great point, and I think we have some to play in that. But I think that's another piece of the issue, is that women have been doing it by themselves for so long that it's hard to embrace a real man when they was approached by one. Because real men will not be in situations where they not be able to be a man.
Right.
And I think a lot of women, because they have glorified the role of making the decisions, being in charge, not having to listen to nobody, not have to do it nobody's way. If you get that'll happen for a boy, you can do that. But a real man who understands who he is and what he brings, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
I think also, though, it takes really real women to help push the callings out of real men. I'll take an example. When I first met my wife, she was, two children already. I'm 23 and I'm, just trying to figure it all out. And it can almost be intimidating to women who are already successful, have this stuff together in a degree. It almost makes it intimidating. I did have my father present. I'm gonna be honest. I can speak into what Pastor Bradley said. If it hadn't been for my father's voice speaking to me, I would definitely went left, had I not had that example. But I can also say, if I hadn't met my wife, I wouldn't be in the seat that I'm sitting at today. So I think it is also men not being intimidated by the strength of strong women.
Wow.
That we actually do need women to help get us to the place of purpose and destiny. That's why the scripture says, when a man findeth a wife, he findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor from the Lord. There are certain things that will not open up for you if you don't have the right thing. But, so there's some things that I think we can all attest to, that our lives got better when we found the right thing. So, I do, to even Ashley's point, though, there is this kind of like, where we don't need men. And I think that's because women have been burnt by guys, and I'm like, the trust thing of just building trust to even open up yourself up again to a relationship when there's been so many counterfeits. That and I don't have any more time to deal with the counterfeit relationships. I just want somebody that can help me to produce and to get to purpose instead of having to carry the weight. Because what happens is, and I know it's gonna sound, man, don't beat me up. I know women are probably tired of raising men. You know what I mean? Like, Like let's.
Renata liked that one. She was like, "Woo!"
Yeah,
I
knew she would like that.
I got a release off that one.
Yeah.
I'm your girl. I ain't your mama.
Ashley liked that one too. She just ain't laughing.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. Listen, I want to come.
That's true. That's real. That's real, huh? That's real.
Build a table instead of let's build something together. And so I do, attest to these women. Like, I think we have to have a balance. It's not all everybody's fault. Now there's some women out here that, and there's some men out here that you need to look the opposite direction. But there are people with potential too. That sometimes we overlook the potential of a man because they don't have it together yet. But I'm gonna leave that alone.
That was me.
Yeah.
I definitely and like how we got so much in common with what you said, because Ashley be the first to tell you I was a fool in high school.
Aggravating.
Yeah.
I don't even think that comment was necessary. But listen, man, if it wasn't for my dad's voice, I don't know which way I would have went either. And then to piggyback off, you said your wife, man, my wife, I'm telling you, she motivated me so much to do it. I would definitely not be who I am right now if it wasn't for my wife.
Listen, Fred, I would contest to that. I've seen a major growth in you since you met your wife and had a baby.
Praise the Lord.
What is this Bash Reggie night?
No. That's not a negative thing.
I know. I'm just playing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I have seen growth in that. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, but that's the power. That's the power of a family, though.
Right.
That's the power of a family, man. I'm telling you.
It's for that man to go out and conquer the world, and that woman to rub his back his head and tell him he can. You know what I'm saying? It's the power. It's the power of the family, and it trickle down to kids. It's when two rocks together and have rocks. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That, and I think that's what's missing when that family structure is not in place. I'm trying to get too detailed because I don't want to give personal business away. But one of my kinfolk, one of the young people in my family, made this I was talking to one of my family members, and they told me that their daughter made this comment that she struggles with men in relationships now because of her relationship with her father. And that thing hurt me. Like, that thing was a dagger to hear. That she's all screwed up, and how she handles men, and how she can kind of process their intentions and all of that, because she wasn't poured into in that regard from her father. And so not just from boys needing their daddy, but it's probably more important that these young ladies, so
different.
You have affirmation before you go out the house.
There's so many different pieces to it, and a lot of times I don't think we are dating for a purpose. We're dating just to date, say we're doing something, and then we end up in situationships, and then we have produced kids. Wow. And then now you're trying to force two people who don't even have anything in common to be a family. So now you got this kid out here who's lost, and the mother. So we can't put the blame on the man. We can't put the blame on the woman. We got to equally put the blame on both people, and start dating with intention and dating for a purpose. And if it's somebody that you don't see yourself with, why are you laying down with them? Because then you have a kid out here, and then now you got the kid. So when we as women, we have kids, we immature. Like, I was a teen mom. So when we have kids, we are forced to grow up because they can't be with us. Whereas that man, that boy, he's still trying to mature, maneuver, and find his way through life. And he may fall off, come around, and come back, and come off, or whatever. But then we as women, we develop this bitterness, and we hold it on for years and years.
That's good.
Over them, and when they at least trying. So when they trying, let them do what they can do, what they're trying to do. But when we bitterness and we trying to predict when they gonna get to see him, when they not gonna see him, who they gonna be around, they not gonna be around this girl, that girl, and then it draws the man further away. So then now you make him like you doing everything for this child when that man has tried to do certain things, and then we drag it into the court system. So now we back into the whole system when we can just be a grown adults and co-parent. Like, it's a beautiful thing to co-parent, even if you're not in a, same household family, you can co-parent peacefully. But a lot of times we as women feel like because we have the kid that we can, hold them over their heads and have them do what we want them to do when we want them to do it. And that's not right for the kid, because now they're seeing, that's my daddy and that's my mama, and they bickering and they going back and forth at each other. And it creates, pain and resentment within that child. So that child may look at that absent parent or that parent that's not in the household in a whole different light, when it's not even that situation to begin with, because we are in our feelings.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you go. But I'm gonna let you get in it. But I gotta say this because I think she hit something so phenomenal, and that thing exploded in my face when she said it. And I never really saw. I guess it was always there, but I never really saw it. I believe that's it. When you talking about when both sides have really not talked about what the potential of us laying down can be.
Right.
The reality is when you have the child, you're stuck there and have to grow up. So that means all your plans are on hold. Everything you have aspirations to do, you have to now, pivot when you haven't even planned to. It just happened from you making a decision that you didn't think through. And he's released to kind of go on and figure it out and be free and do what he wants. And you are forced to have to put your life on hold, so to speak. And I think that's where that resentment and that bitterness, and I understand, like that's deep.
Right. But when you grow and you mature and you realize, your fault in that role, in accepting that and going into the position that you were in, then you can kind of start like, you know what? I got this child. I got to do what I got to do to take care of this child. If they're going to be a part of their life, they're going to be there. If not, but don't put negative thoughts and connotations in that child's mind and head, because when they get older, they see things for themselves. You don't have to tell them. Wow. They see things for themselves. So don't put them things into their mindset. Like I said, I was a teen mom, right? I was a teen mom, and I had my first child when I was 16, and I had my second when I was 18. I put off college for a few years. I went to work. I quit playing sports my senior year because I wanted to work to take care of mine. And listen, I did it. I graduated high school. I went to college. I got my degree. I'm working as a lieutenant in emergency medical service in my profession as a paramedic. And I bought a house and I did all these things. You can still do what you need to do, even if you have to put it on hold for a little bit. So let your kids do those things. Let your kids see you still going out here striving and trying to get to the next level without, putting down that other parent, because they don't see who's doing what and who's not doing what. They're going to see that. Don't put negative thoughts in your mind.
Let me say something real quick before I lose my mind. That was one of the things that I talked about with this whole virtual school thing. Like, this is the time right now. It's not the bicker. This is the time to come together as people, as a family. I started a Facebook group for parents that have questions with these teachers, because, like you say, as parents, we have to put our children. We got to show our children that we are going to invest in them, and sometimes we got to put ourselves on the back burner for them. We have to put ourselves on the back burner for them to show them that we're going to invest in anything that they do, and especially their education. Because if we don't show them that we ain't even going to invest in their education, then they're not going to strive, or they're not going to be motivated to do anything as far as with their education or anything goes in life.
Right. Like, Reg, you see me, I'm out there with them kids, basketball, every game, not miss no games, with other people, kids in the community, people who, in similar situations, like single parent household, don't have that much, support systems in the house. Listen, I'm out there, I'm reaching, because I know what it was like, to be a young parent, or to not get all the support, I guess, so to say. Like, my mom was awesome, but she had to work because she was a single parent. So, you know what I'm saying? So the cycles and stuff, just the generational cycles, it just continues to spiral.
She got it.
Spiral. So at some point, we gotta. You good?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
I think one thing that COVID-19 exposed was how systemic racism has destroyed the black family. Like, I think, for lack of a better words, like it exposed it. You know, when you're talking about virtual education for single parents, you know, that have to work and they can't be home.
That's crazy.
And you have no 2-parent households to be able to work with your kids. I think it exposed it, you know, and really showed the need. If we don't see it, the black family and communities now, that we have to do better and being present, and to see something that Miss Noda said earlier. I'm gonna play a devil's advocate here.
Go ahead.
Some men don't desire to be in their children's life without. So some men only use the child as bait to be back in relationship with the mom. So if the mom is disinterested, then they don't want any dealings with, because it's a package deal per se for them. You know, and I hate to say that, but that's just what it is. So every person is not. There are some situations that are unreconcilable differences. That happens. You know, like you can't. You know, you can't. Sometimes you can't be in a civil conversation with people who are not mature. So what do you do then? Somebody made a post about, I just read the comments of, what if you don't have an example? There are always examples, maybe not just in your significant circles, like in your immediate circles. And sometimes for me, like I had to look outside of my environment to find different, because it wasn't around me, you know, but it's somewhere. It might just not be in what your expectations are from the people that's around you, but don't let that stop you from still knowing that there's things out there that can, you know, kind of help you. But I do kind of feel like to everything that everybody's saying, which is really, really good stuff. We've been exposed. Now, what are we going to do now that we've been exposed? Because now, in just a few weeks, going back to what Red said about our kids going back to school, single moms still have to work. You can't stop your job as an EMT. You know, you can't stop your job as a paramedic. So who now your kids are probably at a different age group. And I'm like, but still, for the parent who has to work and there's no father present, like, what is that? You know, and what are we doing as a community to rally around those students and kids to make sure that we're getting help to those parents who cannot afford? When we got hit by a tornado 2 years ago, they said it already set Eastern Greensboro back 15 years. All right. So then we hit COVID-19 on top of that. That's another 15 years. That's 30 years from people who are already set back already. So it's not, you know, how many more setbacks can we take before we find a solution to the situation? So I think my question for everybody is, where do we go from here? How do we change this? We've been talking about the cycles. Pastor Bradley said something powerful about the black man being an example, or men being an example in general, not black or white, whatever, but men being an example in general. But what do we go from here to produce better examples? And hopefully this is a platform for people to listen to it and step up. But what do we do? I think that's a question.
Well, I personally feel like, you know, there has to be more role models in the black community. Even if you have a missing parent, then hopefully somebody in that circle, whether it's a coach, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a pastor, like, can truly, you know, be a role model to that child or to that young adult, and give them some knowledge, give them some education that help them be better. Because it's almost like what was discussed in the beginning. If you don't have the tools, how can you do it? So I think the first step is giving them the tools and figuring out how to do that, even if there is an absent parent in that household. I think sometimes we don't always use our platforms, you know, the way we should or to the full extent, because sometimes we get focused on ourselves and not necessarily focused on, you know, the mission or a goal to help somebody else. So I would say that would be the first step, you know.
All right, let me ask this question as well, though. So what if we have some tools and then people don't show up?
Yeah. So then, I mean, but there has to be a want, you know, if people don't want it, then it's definitely going to be hard to convey any type of message, to, you know, teach anything. There definitely has to be a want, and it has to be an effort. Otherwise it's going to be void.
It has to start in the household.
Right.
Yeah. And I think all households,
right.
Single family households, as well as those with both parents in the home. we have to instill and to portray the value of family again.
That's good.
And the roles of parents in family again. And Jesus says something, of course, this is his words, not mine. So I'm just going to use a little scripture just to give my base. Jesus says something to disciples, and they ask him, why are you always teaching parables? He says, why you always teach telling stories? And Jesus says, because there is no readiness. When there is readiness, then those things that I'm saying, I can put it in a way that they can get it. But right now, while there's no readiness, I can speak to them blue in the face and they'll never get it. They'll never see it. And so I think in men in particular, because we're talking about a lot of men being out and absent from the household, but even in families, I think, you know what I mean, especially for a man that does not know he's not a good father or doesn't know what a good father looks like, there has to be a want to that's in place first. Even if you don't know where to get the tools, or heard, you know, one of the comments said, what if there is no I don't have any examples around me, or what if there's no role models around me? If you genuinely say, I want to be better at this, I gotta fix this.
Yeah.
I want to be better for my kids. I want better for them than I got from my dad.
Yeah,
I want a family structure that looks different from the family structure I'm in right now. And, you know, even Miss Burns, man, I think there's power in your strength and how you're raising your children to still instill in your kids the power of a 2-family home, even if they ain't in one.
Right.
You know, in a positive way. I think we've got to show it and teach it in a way where those that are absent the home, something goes off and they say, I got to get back to my kids. Mm-hmm. Even if the relationship is dead, even if there is no relationship, there is still a relationship with their children, that no stepfather, that no boyfriend can take the place of their daddy.
Right.
And so Red, I mean, Hawk, you asked about what do we need to do? I think that's what we got to do. we've got to teach. I'll never forget it, man. About 3 years ago, I was talking to some young people at our church, and I just from talking with young people, I overheard the peer pressure that even were coming from young women at schools now, where in circles you look down on as being scared or punk if you want to use protection while having sex.
Right.
That young girls are pressuring boys to have unprotected sex because they want to feel it.
That's crazy.
Wow.
No, but this is real. So
I know.
So what's happening is that we are starting families, whether you want to or not, with no idea of what that means, because there is no teaching of how precious the family structure really is. And so I think that's the problem, you know, and so until we value that and take that seriously, even when we can't wait to have a family and get married and do it right, at least we can value it enough to say, I'm going to protect myself so I don't have to do it prematurely because I'm not ready to be nobody's daddy.
And let me speak into this too, and I think because we get some really good comments, man. I think this is because we talked about for those individuals who want the help, right? And like, I think we got to have practical takeaways from things that we can take away to say, what are some things that single moms can do? What are some resources that's being provided? What are some things that we can give? Same way with men. But then I think it has to be a consistency. You know, one of my hardest things, my toughest thing that I had to do when I first took over church, I thought I could do everything, right? Mm-hmm. And I took on a responsibility of trying to mentor a young guy. And his mom came to me and said, I need you to do me a favor. I knew you were going to be busy, and I know your heart's probably in the right place, but I need you not to lie to me. But man, people are looking for consistency from community leaders. Yeah. Like being consistent in what we say that we're going to do. If we're not present, like your presence alone can change like if a man walks in, if I walk in the house, I don't care if my wife is in saying anything. When I walk in the house, it demands a certain authority and presence because of who I am. But if I'm inconsistent with that, it doesn't matter. You know, like it's only because I'm consistently here, I'm there. Now, if I was in and out, kept them on the weekends here and there, would my presence be is probably not, because they're in different environments. But if my presence is consistently there, and then when I go in the environment, I can help shape that. What I'm saying, I'm believing that our communities are asking for us to be consistent and what we're doing. Reg, I'm gonna put the burden on us because I think we need to. What are we doing? What are some things that's going on in our communities that are already present that we can resource people to who want to know what to do?
It's not a lot. One thing I can say that is consistent in our community is we got Man Up Monday, and I think the ladies, they do something too. I can't remember what theirs is called.
Women Up Wednesday.
Women Up Wednesday. And I'm gonna be honest, man. The kids enjoy when they see the men come over there and talk to them and sit down and have real life conversations with them.
Russell Smyer is doing Bishop Smyer is doing a fatherhood initiative,
Right.
along with the single young, I forgot what you call the parenthood for the ladies who are teens or single and pregnant. They teach them how to. There is a spinoff to that while they're teaching them to be a mother. He has a program that takes fathers through a fatherhood initiative to show the importance of a father and how to become better fathers. So I know that's available, and he does those around different churches or clinics or different areas. He's certified to do it. That's something I talked about getting in with him to be a facilitator in. So I know we're trying to put that together to give those who want to be better fathers an outlet.
That's good. I know Circle of Kings is something. What I'm looking for, and maybe this is a part two, I think we definitely need to get solid information, this is me, that we can put out so that people who watch these podcasts can know, man, more about your stories. I think you two women have a powerful story that probably needs to be shared on more platforms as well. So we just want to put information. It's great that we have these conversations, and they're amazing. Reg and Pastor B doing an amazing job. But for me, man, I want to make sure we have resources in our community and plugging people into resources so that when you leave a conversation like this and you're hungry for information, where are we sending you to? So I think a good follow-up, Reg and Pastor B, is to talk about that. Like a lot of stuff that Pastor B said, I didn't know. I know somewhat, but I didn't know some of the stuff that's being provided. Let me tell you something else we're going to need. We're going to need virtual tutors this school year. People that can volunteer their time and to be the community to help these children who have single moms.
I think
I started a Facebook group for that.
Amazing. So let's put that out there. Information.
Like I say, you can for you parents, single parents, it's for anybody. It ain't just for Rowan County kids. It's for anybody. I'll definitely share that information again. Already, we got like 300 members already. I just put it up last week.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody can come in there. Like I say, it's a bunch of teachers in there, some assistant principals in there, and a lot of them, of course, they were teachers. They're going to be willing to help and answer questions that you need to be answered, because we know, man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Like Hawk said, we got single parent homes. They might got 3 or 4 kids. That's tough. Listen, I got one. And I'm struggling.
Jesus.
So I can only imagine, man. I'll be struggling with my baby girl. I'm telling you, she be running me up the walls. So I can only imagine, man. We're talking about something that's brand new to parents, something that's brand new to teachers. But I'm telling you, we going to be prepared, man. We're going to be prepared for this, and we're going to help out any way we can.
That's good, bro.
That's real good. That's really good.
Y'all ladies have been so instrumental to tonight. Good to always have that balance, man, and that perspective. And man, I just want to honor you guys for what you're doing and raising your children and just being an example of just strength. And we appreciate your strength, man, and your courage for what you're doing.
Definitely they strength. Two both of these ladies work in the medical field. Ashley, she's a nurse. She going to the hospital every night doing this pandemic.
Wow.
She's working in the medical field too. And we just gotta give people their flowers while they're alive, man.
Right.
Gotta give people and I definitely thank both of y'all. For what y'all doing and continue to do God's work and continue to be blessed, most definitely.
Thank you.
Good.
But we gonna do anybody got anything else they want to say before we get off of here?
Let's do
Nah, I
final
appreciate-
words. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Let's hear from my ladies.
I appreciate the platform. You know, offer me to come on here to speak my little 2 cents or whatnot. But I think we all need to get back to the old school parenting, community parenting. I still got that old school parenting in me. If I see your child doing something, I check anybody's child, and I want somebody, they see mine doing something, check them, and then let me know so then I can check them too. So we got to get back to that community checking.
She ain't lying.
Community. Yeah, he know. I get on everybody, kids. I don't care.
Ashley.
Yeah, thank you for having me tonight. I appreciate it. You know, anytime, I'm more than willing to come on here. And I would agree, you know, it takes a community. It takes a village. We all have to jump in there and, you know, be better community, be a better culture, just be better in general.
Oh, I enjoy Hulk Speaks on Wednesdays, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
He's a celebrity. That's Hulk talk.
Listen, they got the old music going.
Oh God, man.
That's celebrities.
Please don't get these guys.
That's Diddy Taylor and Hov Hawkins.
Right now, no. Oh,
He give me that Lecrae vibe. Okay.
Hey, you like it when he turns to the side and they back to the seat, be like,
And then
hey,
he do his hands like this.
Yeah. Shit. What God is trying to tell you?
Yo, y'all are foolish. It's on you, Pastor B. No, you're closing. Let me go ahead and put my 2 cents in because that's the closing right there. That's Mariana. Nah, listen, man. I'm so grateful, man, just for this platform and what the Lord is doing. We've reached tens of thousands of people in just 7 episodes. So it's the fact that the God's hand is on and what we're doing. I think, and I've seen Scotty Robinson on here tonight. I've seen a lot of just community voices that are already advocating, doing great things in the community. So what I just want to challenge us with is just to, maybe the next time we do it, just to provide some resources so we'll let people know. I've heard some people, as I'm looking at the comments, saying that they want to share the information once we know it. And so just getting the information out, connecting people, I think that would be so important for people just to see what we're doing. There's some amazing resources in our community, and you guys are doing some amazing jobs. So that's it. Thank you, guys. Love you.
See y'all later.
Yeah.